worked finally. All I did was just keep trying.
Okay, happy Thursday, to everybody. This is
Happy
our
Thursday.
this is our we call our life show. Joe Davis is here, of course, our special guest on Thursday. Kira Andersen. Kira, this has been a devastating week for me because of politics, which is not good. I mean, I've been flabbergasted. Joe, first of all, let's go to Joe. He's younger. Both of you guys are younger than me, but Joe, what did you think about the results, or were you expecting them?
I wasn't surprised. I'm not surprised. I mean, Charlie, if you look at it, and if you just look at American history, the most disrespected person in the world is the black woman. So I said it when she started running. I said no one's
You
gonna
did.
vote for a black woman. So
Nobody gonna vote for a
I
black
was
woman.
not so very surprised at all. But
Kara,
they
did
also
you?
put her in a bad position. Joe Biden put her in a bad position. When he
Joe
came out
Biden could have done
terrible,
it better than she did.
well, they threw her out there and gave her basically 3 months to try to win an election. Like that's
Okay,
tough.
you do it. Kara, you look at these polls that they came out. These polls were
Mm-hmm.
so wrong. She's leading here.
Mm-hmm.
She's leading there. What about the
Mm-hmm.
stress of this election, Kara?
Yeah, I think regardless of which side you were leaning towards or voting for, there was an increased amount of stress. There's a lot of division in our country, and though there's just it's like there's very combative communication, and so um, yeah, I mean, I certainly did not sleep well the night of the election. I was on pins and needles looking at, are we good?
Oh no, yeah, I was ahead
Okay.
of.
You're good.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So yeah, I think everyone had some sort, a certain amount of anxiety, certainly. Um, and so
What?
I think no matter what, we all need to realize what
I said I was
what
asleep
was
at
that,
nine
Joe?
o'clock.
Yeah, I
I
couldn't go
wasn't.
to I went to sleep, but then couldn't I woke up at 2 a.m. and wasn't able to go
Same.
back to sleep.
That's me. Uh, so I'm shocked at. Well, no, I'm not. I'm shocked at the number of black men that voted. I'm horribly shocked at Latinos.
Mm-hmm.
It just shows you. I was listening to Steve Harvey this morning. He
Mm-hmm.
was says this shows you where the people in the black race are. You still don't amount to nothing. And it gets back to the fact about you, Joe, because Kara, it hits black people a lot different. My daughter in Florida had a guy came in with a Trump hat on in our office today just to mess with the customers, and it really upset her because my two daughters are very upset because of the bill with women too,
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just upset. I'm not
Yeah.
upset. I don't know where I can't do anything. I got to deal with this guy for 4 years. So, okay, Kara, you the life coach. How can we make it better? Now, that's your question of the year.
Okay.
Turn
You
off the
cut
TV.
out. Can you repeat that?
Okay, here's your question of the year. If you were not a Trump supporter, and this country is so divided now, I don't care what anyone says, how can we make it better if you were not a Trump supporter?
Well, we need to focus what's going on in our homes, right? Keeping peace in our homes, treating our body well. I always come back to, we need to live with purpose, right? And we can't control it. We all went out and voted, and the result is the result. So why let it ruin our year or even month or week or what have you, because it's okay to be upset, right? Everyone who's upset is allowed to be upset, and rightfully so. Okay, but there's nothing we can do about it. Here's how you make a difference: you vote with your money, right? So you be careful where you spend your money, because that's how you make a change. What you do with your life personally, how you keep your stress down, how you fuel your body, what you put into your body, All those things are controllable. So we talk about this all the time, Charlie. There's so many things you can't control, but there are things you can, right? And a big tool is where you spend your money,
Yeah, it
right?
is.
And what you invest in and what you're charitably giving to and where you're spending and volunteering your time and your efforts. All that stuff matters and is controllable.
The,
If we have a divisive country, but there's stuff you can do in your own home, neighborhood, town that is positive and that can create a more united place.
what do you tell people when they say? Because I meet with that group on in the morning. You know those guys. They're
Yeah.
they're
They were
all. I mean, they
elated.
were. They called me that morning on the phone on my way down. They're all staunch Republicans. I mean, staunch Republicans. And they said, well, now you got to support Donald Trump. He's your president. I said, no, I do not.
Yeah.
I'm my own president. I didn't vote for him.
Well, you
But
know who's president?
you are. We are.
No, God, the
God is
Almighty,
right.
whatever you
That,
believe in, the
it's
universe, the
God. That's
Almighty.
right. That's right. That's right. So how do you explain this to kids from very young kids
Mhm.
and to teenagers that are in high school? How do you explain it to them?
I mean, very simple and matter of fact that we are all very different and we think differently and we have different backgrounds and different levels of education and different opinions. And that's what makes our world great. And sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. And
Yep,
for a
yep.
lot of people, this didn't turn out how they wanted it to. But
Joe, you
it's
know
four
this
years.
is what
We're going to
disappointed me the
survive.
most.
We're going to get through
Oh,
it.
we got to
There
survive.
has to be some positives that
But I don't think you can tell teenagers anything. I think teenagers are going to tell us what they think.
Right.
Well, they'll be the ones if we see a lot of
we
protests and
will
a lot of
survive.
different action. They'll be the ones that will give us the answer.
The thing that shocked me the most are the black race that says we are tired of being shoved aside for all these years. We are tired of being in prison, and we see these immigrants coming in, getting out of jail right away, but they're not taking jobs from blacks. Do you disagree with that, Joe, or not?
No, I'm not worried about 18%. Like 18% is not a lot. I'm not worried
No,
about 18%.
it
Like
was 18%.
everybody
She
focusing
got
on the
18%.
18%, but no one's focusing on all the millions and millions of people who voted for Trump as well. Like, okay, 18%. Everybody thought black men were gonna vote for Trump, and when you look at the polls, it looked like they came out and voted for Kamala Harris. So everybody was disrespecting black men for the last 3, 4 months, and they were wrong. So
Because it was what 78% black, 18%, no, 78% uh black white,
it was like
and the black race
83%.
was
Yeah.
18%. So
Mm,
but Latinos was Kara Hockey,
we're almost split.
yes, that's what gets me. That's why this country split.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And we don't know people's motivation, right? And we don't know, and I've been saying this the whole time. You guys have heard me say it. This isn't a popularity contest. We need to look at what the policies are and how they affect everybody, right? We,
But
we and so who knows what everyone else's motivation is? We don't know.
but you know what? In the past, when I grew up, when I was young, we came from black households. We were always told not to ever vote Republican because Republicans were against our race, which was not totally true. So I looked at the Bushes, people like that, the Reagans. That was a true Republican Party. Now this is the party of Trump. That's why we're so divided. I could,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
oh hell, I would love to have George Bush president right now.
See, but you know what the problem is? Because you did it too, Charlie. We all fall into it because of social media is a part of it.
Right.
It's where the minority, they go on there and they use their voice and they scream the loudest. So everybody thinks that minority is actually the majority, but no, they're just the ones screaming the loudest. And
It's a
that's
really
what
good point.
happened with the Democrats. They went into the minority extreme leftists and thought that was going to win them the election because it helped Trump win the election. But when you
Yeah.
looked at Democrats, they wanted you to be more towards the middle, and they just couldn't figure that out, and that's how they lost. I mean,
Yeah.
What's happening?
there was 13 million votes that Kamala Harris could have had that Joe Biden got in the last election. So it's like they
That's right.
didn't do a great job of getting people to come out and vote.
And what's personally what's bad for me is that a lot of people in town know me. They know my stance for being on the radio, podcast, and whatever. And people are just letting me have it. When I walk in a restaurant, yes, I'm going back out. Restaurant or bar, Starbucks it was, had people there I didn't even know, but they knew about me. They had a chair for me at the head of the table.
That's funny.
I mean, it was, then people walked in and heard them talking. How did you do that? You, sir, one lady got upset at me. I mean, she really, this white lady, she got truly upset at me. But I say, I've never been through stuff like that. Never ever.
Yeah.
But like you said, God, I want to get away for a minute and come back to this. Of course, everybody knows that I had a health scare. I'm going to tell you, Carrie, appreciate this. So this past week, I started my heart rehab.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to Barnes West
Mm-hmm.
and I take 3 classes a week at 2 hours apiece. And they work, I mean, they work, I thought I was working out at Lifetime. I mean, they work you out.
Good.
They work you out. And then on Wednesdays and Fridays, on top of working out, you have a cooking class.
Great.
They cook. They take in another
Teach
room,
you how to cook.
and you cook healthy food. And people, everybody in the room's not old. It's young people too.
I
It's a
love it.
cooking class. They cooked. Of course, I had the weirdest question yesterday. Of course, I'm always do that because the lady said they were fixing chili, and everything that they were fixing for the chili, tomatoes, garlic, everything was in a can. So I said, wait a minute. I've always heard you didn't. It's not supposed to eat out of a can. So the hostess looked at me funny and just smiled because everybody else turned around and looked at me and said, what the hell is he talking about? She said, well, what you do on things like that, you look at the labels to see. She said, you can do certain things out of cans, but you look at labels. She fixed a chili, no meat, macaroni, all kind of stuff. I got the recipe. It was so damn good. I mean, it was no meat because she said, no, don't eat any meat unless you put turkey in it. And
Turkey chili's good.
turkey
But
chili. She said what the doctor at the hospital told me. If it's got 4 legs, don't eat it.
You weren't supposed to have any meat?
No, well, this
you
my
can have
health
some
class, no meat.
poultry,
It's all poultry and fish.
fish,
That's it. No red meat, period.
Hmm.
that grease,
Yep.
that fat
And
clog your arteries.
if you happen to get hamburger, you got to get 90%, but that's not
Lean.
good either. Lean. If you've ever had hamburger, and I know you have, if you get 80%, there's so much grease. But if you get 90%, that is not any grease at
It's not
all.
gonna stay together either.
No, it ain't gonna say
It's
no,
not gonna
not at
stay.
all. That's soulful burger. It won't do it. It don't taste right. But so I go 3 days a week. I got to go again tomorrow, and it's actually hard. But they make you work out. They make you walk for 6 or 7 minutes. Now, walking for 6 or 7 minutes doesn't seem like long, but it is. You got to walk around this little track. Then you get through that. Then they put a heart monitor on you and take your uh, blood pressure. Then after you do that, you got to get on another machine. After you do that, you get on another
Workout.
machine. Work out. I mean,
Good.
it's really good. So I just want to let you know. I was thinking about you, Kara, when they were doing this. It's
Yeah.
actually very good.
Yeah. That's right. We should all be doing that, regardless of your age. We should
But
be exercising, eating well, watching what we put in our body so that long term, we're not living longer and sicker.
they have actually a kitchen in the building
Great. That's
where they
amazing.
prepare food. They're going to prepare soup and salsa tomorrow.
Ooh,
And
Homemade
Great.
salsa is fun. It's just a lot of cutting and chopping.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too
It's
much.
a lot of cutting and chopping.
I
Yeah,
try
but it's
not to
fun.
do that.
It's fun.
And so, but it was good. But here's something else getting back to the election that hurt a lot of people: transgenders,
Mm-hmm.
LGBT. What about that? Because the
QI.
Democrats,
You.
Hey,
the, the Democrats had to stand up for that. So what that means is, do you want your little boy to go into the boys' bathroom with tampons on the wall? Does that bother you?
It's confusing.
Yep. So that's what.
that's
Now
super
the
confusing.
Republicans say they're not going to do that, but eventually we're all going to have to live like that
Well, that's where the education at home matters. That's why
at
you
home.
speak with your children. You lead by example. You have open, honest conversations and talk about how everyone is different and God made us all different. And some things aren't going to be the way that we do it. And that's okay. It's what makes the world beautiful. And people are going to make choices and say things and do things that are counterintuitive to what my beliefs are and what I'm hoping my children grow up knowing and believing. But it's a part of life.
Your kids are
School is supposed
young,
to teach you subjects. Your home is supposed to teach you life.
Yeah,
right? Exactly. Because some parents don't teach their kids anything. They leave it up to the school,
The
which is
school.
100%.
totally wrong.
Hmm.
Totally wrong.
Exactly.
But what your kids are young. Have
Yeah.
they noticed things now? And they come on, and, mommy, what's that? Have they talked to you yet about things?
Nope.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Mm-mm.
It's coming. It's gonna come.
My
You
classmate's
mean
a
as far
cat.
as transgender goes, or
Anything, anything that has to do with races, sexes, things like that. I guess they're too young.
well, so my children, I've shared with you guys. My kids did not know color. Like they didn't see. We've had, we have black people in our lives. We always, I mean, it's just even
I,
growing up, like
I
it's
want
not
you to
this.
stay on. I want you to stay on that subject because I want to talk about that. Keep
Okay,
going.
so my kids don't know they don't see color. Only my daughter is 7. She only recently asked me about the difference in our skin color.
Mm.
Um, but the other day my daughter did see a gal that, you know, had her hair slicked back and like a zip up, and her hair pulled back in a ponytail. And she did make a comment that, she looked like a boy. And I didn't know what to say because, you know, I, it's a
Was it a
touchy
dyke?
subject.
Was it a
What?
dyke?
I
Was
don't
it
think
a?
so. I mean, I don't know.
She just looked like that.
I don't think so. Yeah, and again, I have the conversation with my daughter. I kind of let it pass, and then I afterwards I said, Leah, everybody, no, we all don't look the same. People look different, and we just need to accept people no matter what. And I'm like, it doesn't matter what it looks like on the outside or what you see on the outside. It matters what's on the inside. But I mean, I really had to think about, what do I say? How do I say this? Because it is touchy and my kids are going to encounter, you know I mean, it's life, it's our world.
Mhm.
It's no longer
That
A, B, C, and D. Now it's A through Z as far as options for things.
that reminds me of a story as a little kid that I had an experience like that, and I always tell the story. I never forget it. We were at my little sister's pageant. I may have been 7 years old, and we were walking through the hotel, and I'm with my older brother. He's 5 years older than me, and he came out of the closet. He's gay now, but back then we didn't know one knows. And we were walking through the hotel, and this guy had no arms, and I was 7 years old. I never seen somebody with no arms. And I guess the way I looked at him, I don't know how I looked at him, but the way I looked at him, my brother was not happy. He snapped at me. He was like, "You don't ever look at somebody like that. You don't ever treat somebody like that." And I was a little kid. I didn't even know how I looked at the guy, but it taught me
Hmm.
a lesson. It definitely did.
Yeah.
I want to get back to the part about race
Hmm.
because I went through this with my sister.
Hmm.
Was in a biracial marriage.
Hmm.
She said, "I don't want you to talk to the kids ever about race when they're young." Charles, she said, "Charles, I have to watch
Ever.
you. You're the one in the family that would do it." My two brothers, she said, they'll be okay. But Charlie, you will say something that will be appalling. So, how do you not tell your kids about different colors of skin? The hardest part is we're all the same. But as they get older and go to school, they're
Yeah.
gonna have other people. They're gonna have their peers tell them something different. How do you handle that nowadays? You too, Joe.
I mean, my kid, it's a non-issue, and I'm not going to make it an issue. We all
Yeah,
come
no,
from
but it's
But
gonna come sooner or
no,
later
it's not.
as they get old. You don't think
I
it
think it's
will?
I don't think so. I think it's cultural. I
Is
don't
the
think I
younger
think
generation is gonna be better?
oh
no.
yeah.
Cause my
I
generation was all race.
I don't think I think it'll always be a thing in the black culture of when you're growing up, you're gonna at one point, especially as a black man, you're gonna have someone's gonna have that conversation with you and
Yeah,
tell you the difference.
as a
Around
black man.
as a black man, absolutely around
But
eight,
see,
9 years, 10 years old, you're having someone's gonna have that conversation with you and say
What conversation?
that you're black, that you're gonna
yeah,
be treated different. You gotta work harder.
a black man, a
You
black
gotta
male.
you gotta act differently in certain situations.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we're
By
taught
10
that.
years old, yeah,
Yeah,
but
when I
that's what they
was
say. That cute is gone by 10 years old. Now
Kira,
you're a threat now. That's what you're going to be taught as a young black man. I don't think that's
Kira,
going to
I
ever
grew
change.
up in the older black generation where race was so prevalent that black men way before me would almost hold their heads down when white men came around them.
You got to
We were
walk in the
always
gutter.
taught, don't let another black man do anything for you. Don't let a black man fix your car. I'm serious. Black people did black. That's where it started. We're our own worst enemy. But
Sanford and Son
Joe's
had the
generation,
episode where he didn't want to
yeah,
go have a black dentist,
right.
and
Sanford
that
and
was in
Son.
the late 70s.
Remember the Sanford and Son episode?
Yeah,
Uh, now, some things are still the same, the police and the court systems. But the my daughters hate that. They don't see, they try not to see color and don't ever mention the word gay to them.
right.
He's
But
just, they're younger generation though.
you don't think they're ever going to have that conversation with your grandson though?
Oh, they already have because it's
That's
happened to them already.
that's
But
what I'm
as a
saying.
black person, if you got a black son, not a daughter,
Yeah,
a
it's different.
black son, you're going to tell him what to do when the police, when he's around people, he will always run into prejudice. A black male. I don't care what generation he's from. Did your mother do the same thing with you, Joe?
Oh, absolutely. You had the conversation of when the cop pulls you over, how you're supposed to act, and yes,
Uh,
sir, no, sir, all that. Absolutely.
Kara, did you know there's a movie out and it's a true movie about that book? What's the book? The Green Book?
The Green Book.
There's the Green. Did you see the movie The Green Book, Kara? I want
Hmm.
you to pull it up on Netflix. It's called The Green Book.
Okay.
There was actually a book for blacks to use when they went down south, how to act around white people. It was
Seriously.
an actual
Yeah.
book.
It was a book, and
And
it had like stops where you could go to where you know you could get food, stops where you can go,
it-
you know you can get gas, and like
Wow.
place they had
true thing.
sundown towns marked so you know you had to get out of town before the sundown and all kind of stuff. Yeah, it was pretty much
The
like
movie was
a
about this black man was a very well educated
piano.
pianist.
Hmm.
I mean, he was a symphony, and he hired a white guy to be his driver. They were a total opposite.
Mm-hmm.
The white guy's friends got angry with him for being with the black guy. The guy was so remember Joe. Kira, he would go to these very exclusive halls to play for the people. He couldn't sit inside to eat.
Hmm. No, it's crazy.
Couldn't sit inside
Oh,
to eat.
it's awful.
But
I'm
it
sorry.
was actually like that.
Yeah. I know. I
See,
mean,
if you were a black mother, I'm gonna tell you what you'd have to do. A black mother is gonna be totally different. If you're your son, you would be teaching your son something what Joe's talking about. It would be totally different, which is hard for you to fathom, to imagine.
mm-hmm.
It's not like a sit down conversation, but it's just little tiny things that just ruin
Right.
random
Watch for that.
conversations. Uh huh.
Watch for that. Like Emmett Till. You've heard the Emmett Till story. That was that was a big black story where
That
what
was
did he
what.
look at a white lady? He was a young kid.
Well, they ended up being a lie.
The lady said she lied.
Yeah, this girl was jealous because he had better shoes than him,
Mhm.
and to come to find out, Emmett Till was actually a little slow, a little special. So there was no way for him to actually verbalize and speak to her in that manner. But apparently, he whistled at her. At least she told the police that he whistled at her and like call her pretty or something like that. So these guys grabbed him and beat him up and did all kind of crazy stuff with him.
Hung him. How
Chopped
old
off
was
his
he then? A
private part.
teenager or younger?
No, he was like 12.
Yeah, he was young. And
And then and
there's a
his mom
movie
had
out
an
about
open
that too.
casket, and they put it on Time magazine on the cover of Time magazine. That
These are
was kind
all
of like the
true.
start, the jump off the civil rights movement.
They still talk about this to this day. There's a movie out about that.
Hmm.
And sometimes your kids are not ready for those yet, those type of movies. But sometimes it's good. Like Roots. I think that was good for kids. It really wasn't nothing. But did you ever watch Roots, Kira?
Nope.
That's such a long movie.
Oh, it's long.
Such a long
What was
movie.
it, about 7 days?
Yeah, it's such a long movie. Then they made a TV show.
Hmm.
I
But
mean, but
No, I
people
haven't
don't
seen
go
it.
out their way to watch slave movies.
I can't watch them.
Yeah, I'm not,
The,
I'm not
the
trying to
last
watch a
slave
slave movie.
movie I watched was the one with Jamie Foxx with
Uh,
Samuel Jackson,
Django. Plus,
Django.
when Roots came out, Kira was a little
Kira wasn't
kid.
even born, probably.
Yeah, I'm about to say, yeah. When did Roots come out? Like 89 or 90?
I don't know.
Hmm.
Kira, you were born what in
I don't think I
1992?
was born.
11/11, 1984.
Oh,
I'm 92.
well, I'm not.
You say you remember, you're not reading the
But
history, you telling
have your
memories.
kids asked you anything about the election? Kira, they're too young to see what's going on.
No, they my parents were in town, and so they were
Oh,
very
Or
vocal about what their plan was. So
were
yeah,
your
they've
parents
asked me.
together? Did your parents did your parents vote for the same person or not?
Well, it's my dad and my stepmom, and yes, they are absolutely on the same page.
Okay.
Um, so my kids asked, a little bit, but it's not for them to worry about. They're little kids, and
right.
no matter
Right. I
what,
mean,
it's going to be okay. And I've been saying that to people because people have asked me, and I got my hair colored the other day, and or yesterday, I guess, and
I
or was it
noticed it right
today?
away. See,
What?
I noticed it right away.
Yeah, well, I got my gray hairs colored. Is that what you're noticing? Um, but
Looking that close.
my point was, well, it's pretty obvious, but I was, my hairdresser was really down, and I'm like, I understand a lot of people are really down, but it is going to be okay.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, it has to be, and you have to believe that it's going to be okay. Otherwise, something that you can't control is going to keep you down, and then heck yeah, you're going to have a
Um,
negative four
and that
years if
and that's
you're.
stress. That's stress, isn't it?
And it's okay. Allow yourself, right? Give yourself the grace to be disappointed and the grace to worry, and write all your worries down and then leave them there,
Yeah.
right? Because we can't
It was
control
so
it.
bad. I didn't even want to go to church
Agree.
this week.
Well, take a
Wow.
break. God's
I
not
think
going to be
it's
mad.
right. I think it's entertaining,
No, I got to
to
go.
be
I
honest.
can't miss church.
We
I went
so many,
ahead and went anyway and prayed.
yeah. I mean,
But I was.
we're so much alike that I think it's entertaining that
We are.
we act
You
so
talking about
differently.
racist?
Yeah, yeah, we're so
Yeah.
much alike that it's entertaining to me that we're sitting
Well,
here and fighting
okay.
over so many things when you really look at the basic things and how we move every single day.
Okay.
We all do
It-
the same things. We're very much alike. There's no real difference in people
Okay.
at all. That's why it's entertaining to me that we sitting here fighting over.
O-
It's ridiculous.
Okay, Kara. Here's the question of the year for you. You sitting down? You sitting
Yeah.
down? Okay.
Yes.
What would happen if you went out one night and fell in love with a black man? Could you bring him home?
To my family?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I told you, I grew up like.
I ain't talking about no growing up. I'm talking about you personally right now. Could you come home with a black man and introduce him to your family and your children today?
Absolutely. If that's what God meant it to be, it doesn't. It's not. There's no. That's not
I
a
know that.
non-issue.
I know that. But
It's a
until it
non-issue.
happens, until you walk into that room with your mom and dad, and you will pick up on it not tomorrow.
Man,
You would pick up on it
right away.
immediately.
You don't know my family.
No, I don't know him. I don't know him. That's good. I wish there was more people like, but Joe, you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, it happened to my sister. And it was like it was the her husband's I guess her mother-in-law now. She didn't like her at first because she was black,
She was
but now
black.
she
Yeah.
loves her. And you would have thought it was going to be like everyone thought it was going to be his grandpa cuz he was super old and just old-fashioned. And he loved my sister right away. But
Her
my sister's
grandpa?
mother, yeah, loved her right away and everybody thought he wasn't going to like her at all. But he loved her. But and the mom not so much at first cuz she was black, but she got over it. So, it definitely happens.
Because see, I've always dated out of my race. I've always, first of all, I did it for business purposes. Then after a while, this is kind of fun. I'm serious, it's kind of fun. And I got one brother said, "How can you walk down the street with a white woman in front of people?" I got a younger brother. He's old school. He said, "How can you do that?" Just grab her hand and walk down the street. I don't give a damn. I don't
Easy.
care. But I've done it in times, Kara, where people would actually look at me. This is years ago when it wasn't fashionable. Now you see ads on TV, mixed couples. I mean, who cares?
Exactly.
No,
But I tell you who cares still.
there's some segment of people out there that still care.
White fathers still care. Every white woman I've ever dated, ever, told me her father said of one thing in life don't you ever do is date a black man.
So, say the fun
Right,
is
Joe?
over. Now it's time to get back, come
Yeah.
back home.
Every white woman that I've
I don't
ever
know if it's
dated,
like that anymore. I don't know if
I
it's
don't
like
think
that
it's
as
like
much.
that anymore. Can't be. We got to all like maybe this thing with Trump may make us come together. I don't know. I hope so.
Yeah.
But like you said, it starts at home.
It
Give us some
does.
home tips before you leave. Give us several home tips we should do because a lot of people are depressed. Kira, I know you're
Yeah.
talking about it's God, but it's harder than that.
I get it. Well, first things first, one day at a time, one step at a time. Okay. There's a lot of people. I get it. But as far as so I believe if for couples, from a couple standpoint, you always have to set aside one evening or lunch, whatever, one meal together and have over candlelight without phones. So I think that is really important from a
You said
relational
can
standpoint.
Did you say candlelight?
Yeah.
What candlelight?
It just sets the mood. It's just a little more
Okay.
intimate.
Mm.
Without your phones, without any distractions, have one meal by yourselves via with candles.
Mm-hmm.
And then as far as your family, I think it's really important to sit and eat dinner as a family. Again, undistracted. Talk about the good things in your day, the things you're looking forward to, the things you're grateful for. Those are easy, free things to do to strengthen your relationships because at the end of the day, the relationships are what matters most. The world is going to be, there's going to be tornadoes, hurricanes, all sorts of wars break out of our control. But if we have that solid foundation with the relationships that are closest with us, we're going to have a healthier life and a happier life. Because this
Mm-hmm.
isn't the first or the last disappointing thing that's going to happen in our life. It's just not.
This ain't death.
Correct. And I was actually thinking that, and I think maybe from my perspective, after losing my husband to cancer, my perspective is a little different. I don't get
Yes.
as, these kind of things don't rattle me as much because we're still here. We're still standing.
Yeah.
Well, that's because our generation has seen a lot.
We've seen it's
We
different
done
than
seen
your
two Great
generation.
Depressions,
That's true.
couple wars. It's
We've
something
been through
every couple.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just another day. Yeah, but you're right. That mentality of you just gotta go one foot in the other.
I
One
got
foot in front of
stopped.
the other, and
Yeah,
focus on the positive
hmm
things. Focus on the things you're grateful for. Because there still is a lot of good, even though
Yeah,
the
some
president
people.
it
elect
is.
is not,
I
I wouldn't
Yeah.
say the most
Yesterday doesn't care about today, and
uh,
tomorrow doesn't care about today either.
and
the
tomorrow's
darkest
also not
hour is just
promised.
before the break of day.
Exactly.
I get stopped by the cops a lot because I speed. I get stopped by a cop the other day, white cop, and
Nervous.
always nervous when the police stops me. Always just scared. I may get killed. I'm sorry. I'm just like that. So he said, your driver's license has expired.
Oh no.
I said, what? He said, has? He said, yeah, it has expired. So I said, I'm so old, I forgot to look. He said, well, it expires on your birthday. And it expired on my birthday, early October.
Oh, I wonder if mine
He was
expires.
nice. Huh?
I said, oh, I wonder if mine expires.
Yeah, it expires
I
on
need to
your
look at
birthday.
mine too.
Every 4 years, it expires on your birthday now.
Yeah, Joe, you just
And
had yours.
Yeah, I
because
need
I
to check.
couldn't vote, I had to go get it. But you can vote in Missouri, you can vote with a state ID. You don't have to have a driver's license.
Mm.
So I went,
You don't have to
so
I
what
thought
I
you just
did,
had to have your little card.
no, you got to have a state ID or your driver's license. So I went to go take my driver's license test and I flunked the eye test. I said, wait a minute. I said, I was just at my eye doctor. She said, I'm fine. So I
Take
said,
them
something's wrong
keys.
with this machine. So I went and took it the next day at another place. Passed, something was wrong with the machine. I couldn't see it. Passed right away. But this cop couldn't have been so nice to me. White cop, of course, in the county. Him and I both laughed. He said, sir, go ahead. Because I wasn't going to hurt nobody.
It's
But
because you bold.
some cops are not like that, though, Kara.
But you know what that does, Charlie? That gives you hope, right? There are good, level headed people out there. Everybody is throwing, saying mean things about Trump voters or mean things about people that voted for Kamala Harris. Why do we have to be hateful about it? Why can't we just vote the way that we feel,
Ben.
the way we wanted to vote, and have that be private? That's why it's private. You go in and no one can see.
See you. But see, I've been very hateful with my friends I meet with in the morning. I mean, I've had some very harsh words, and I got to stop doing it. I mean,
Eh,
hateful words.
eh,
Hateful.
well,
Best to say nothing. Smile, say nothing.
no.
Well, they didn't do it. I mean,
Wasn't their
yeah,
fault.
No, you should ask
exactly.
them. All you should ask them is, did they vote for the politician, for the politics, or did they vote for the man?
Well, now
And then
see,
if they
that's
say
where,
they voted for the man, then you can give them all the hate you want to give them.
well, see, some of them voted
So
because it was a black female.
that's what. Then you
I
have
know
the
that
right.
for a reason.
Then you have the right to feel some type of way. I
Right,
think.
because
But if
they,
they
they,
say they
they
think
often
that
told me
they
that.
agree with Trump's politics, then hey, that's okay.
But
Mm.
several of them, more than half of them voted
And I
because
think
she
that's
was a
what a
black
lot of
female.
people are distraught about because they don't like Trump the man and they think he stands for something.
And that's
So
exactly it, Joe. Exactly it. And people that voted for the politics and what they believe is going to happen to our economy and a whole host of
they're
things.
getting lumped into the
Correct.
loud voices and the minority.
Correct.
All right,
And
folks, we're going to want to leave the airways. You got anything you want to leave us with, Kara? I got to call you in a little bit. You want to leave us with something?
yeah, be kind to yourself and others always, but especially today, tomorrow, the next few days. This
Golden.
doesn't need to divide us. And it starts with you. It's your choice. You
Mhm.
can absolutely have feelings and allow yourself to have feelings, but don't treat others differently because of that. It's not fair. And we're
President
all
God,
brothers. But
President God Almighty, right?
exactly, God's the ultimate or whatever you believe in, but we're all connected. We're all interconnected. We all come from the same place. We all, of course, we're going to think, act, right, do, believe different things.
All right.
That's what makes the world beautiful.
Folks, we'd like to thank our life coach, Kira Andersen. She is just wonderful. A lot of people say they really, my youngest daughter lives upon listening to you. She's listening right
Oh,
now. And next week, Dr. Rick will be back in town. We have our regular schedule Thursday night, next Thursday, Cure at 6, Dr. Rick
yes.
at 6:30. Wednesday night, Howard Balls, uh, Skip Weber on Monday and Wednesday. Joe, thanks very much. Everybody have a good weekend.
Sounds good.
And
Yes, sir.
You too.
nice. Talk to you later. Have a great
He
weekend.
sounds so
Thanks.
depressed.
Bye.
Tony LaRussa
You're going to
here.
be
Has your
fine.
loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet, first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
We'd like to remind you about the Snooks Rewards app. Reward yourself daily with the Snooks Rewards app. With Snooks Rewards, you earn 2% back on every purchase. So simple. Shop, earn, redeem. Just show your barcode in the app or